This is the Seasoned Chef, and today we're going to be doing some steak and shrimp fajitas. And here's my shrimp. I'm getting ready to add about a pound of, these are large shrimp. You can really, again, most of the things I make you can kind of improvise, and you don't have to use exactly what I use. But there's about a half stick of butter. A certain chef's Cajun blackening seasoning, and I don't use a whole lot. I use enough to coat the shrimp a little, and I toss them around. Half a stick of butter, a little other seasoning, salt and pepper. Honestly, I always use a pinch of adobo. And the shrimp I always cook for my fajitas first, and I put them aside because, again, like shrimp and calamari can always get overcooked and get tough, and I don't like it being tough. So I'll cook those, and then I'll be right back. I'm gonna let these sit a while. Again, and I'll put a pinch of garlic in there, but mostly I'm not advertising for Paul, but it's a certain blackening seasoning, and there is a little tiny other seasoning, Cajun seasoning, but it's a little salty, so I have to be careful with it. Tiny little bit of salt and pepper and a little garlic and half a stick of butter, and I'll be back in about 3.5–4 minutes. And as you can see, the shrimp is like curled up really tight. It's pretty much done. And again, with shrimp, it's not hard to tell when they're done. They're pretty much cooked. And I have another recipe for blackened shrimp that my brother and some of his camping buddies made, and he showed me how to make it. So one of these days I'll make that, but I have to be outside because it creates a pretty large plume of smoke, and it's blackened shrimp is what it is. Anyway, this is just slightly borrowed from the Oak Convention and my brother, which is basically a yearly camping trip they do. To go over a couple more things, you saw me do the shrimp, and I have them set aside right now. And what I have here is a little bit of oil. I already put some in the pan, and the pan's heating up. I use a larger pan for the fajitas once I'm, and I take my vegetables, I put a little vinegar and oil in them and stir them around, let them marinate in that. And then I have about a 1.5 pounds maybe of, and this is just for me, so I'm not doing a whole big mess like I would if there was a bunch of people here. So this is sirloin cap. You can use some other stuff. You can pretty much use any steak you want, really. And then I have about 2 lemons here. I have 2 lemons, actually, not about. I had 2 lemons. And then I have some seasoning, which is similar to a certain brand name, but I'm not advertising for anybody. And a little bit of adobo seasoning. I use a little bit of that and a little bit of this. And then when I'm cooking the steak, and I'll show you once I get this heated up a little bit more. Maybe I need to turn it up. I'll get it on low. Turn it up a little bit. Get this heated up. I'll put the steak in, and I'll go through rounds of seasoning with the seasoning salt that I use, and the adobo, and then lemon, and then some of this stuff, Worcestershire sauce. And I don't use that a lot. I use just once or twice in there, and that's it on that. I don't use a bunch of it. And then I'll put the vegetables in last. And once they're about done, which you know, some people don't like them cooked mushy. I don't really like them mushy myself. And once they're about done, then I'll go ahead and add the shrimp in, mix it all up, and then we have steak and shrimp fajitas. So, and actually, just so you know, you could start out this with chicken. You can dice up chicken and use chicken instead of steak. I meant to say cut it in strips. I cut my steak and chicken in strips for fajitas. As a matter of fact, you can use steak, chicken, and shrimp. You can do a combination. You can do any meat you want to put in there, I guess, really, if you come down to it. But I've always typically used steak and shrimp, or chicken and shrimp, or steak and chicken, or any combination of those. Anyway, all right, here we go. Our pan is hot now. Look at that sizzle when we drop it in. Just do this. I do with my spatula. There it is. Oh, hit it for myself. Alright. Start out just like this. Spread the meat out a little bit. Sorry, I'm not even got my camera pointed. I didn't set up my camera today, sorry. I fixed my tripod, so I just gotta get it out and use it again, right? And this time I fixed it where it's not gonna break again. Alright. Now, first round. The seasoned salt. You know, the first time a person that taught me to originally make these was a guy who lived with Tex-Mexicans for 16 years of his life, and he taught me to make them. And he uses a little bit of Lowry's and a little bit of McCormick. So I don't know what you want to use, but I'll get a little bit of this on there. Again, I'm not advertising for them, sorry. A little bit of each. Then I come back with the squeezes of lemons, and then you can see there's no seeds in these. I usually won't make sure I'll make sure there's no lemon seeds going in there. And I'll take those leftover rounds and actually toss them down my sink. You know, it's good for your disposal. If you know, clean them out, make them smell better. You get a little bit of lemon in them every now and then. Okay. And to be honest with you, right now I'm in sort of a pickle. This camera's about to die. Oh. Let's try to plug it in for a minute here. A longer cord, really. Alright, we're back. I got the camera on my phone. It's my camera phone, to be honest with you. So sometimes I use my other cameras or my iPad even sometimes. So stir that around. Then you can throw in a little bit of this Worcestershire sauce. Sorry. Well, I really should have set up. Not the way I want. Maybe a teaspoon or so. Get out of the light so you can actually see. The really steak fajitas. Again, I'll taste a piece here shortly and see if it's, because you got to be careful when you're adding all these different salts. You don't want to over salt it, that's for sure. But one of the things that throws people off is because you put all that fresh lemon. Some people mistake the lemon, this sourness, for the saltiness, and it's not really salty. It's just I put so much lemon juice in it, and what I usually do is let this lemon juice reduce down, so then it's almost like it's concentrated. You know, so I'll let this cook a little bit, and I'll come back. Now what you can see here is the meat's been cooking for a little bit, and I let my phone charge up a little, and you see how the sauce reduced down somewhat, and I do want it to reduce all the way. And see, the reason for that is I not only marinate these in vinegar and oil, but I drain all that off, but you're still going to get some juice in here, and I don't like a lot of juice in my fajitas. I like the meat to be moist and not dried out, in other words. And so what I'll do is I'll squeeze some more lemon in here. I tasted a piece a minute ago. It's really actually good, and it's probably about right on the salt. So I have to, I think a little bit more maybe, and that's about it on the salt. 3 more lemon wedges here. And then once I add the vegetables in, I'm going to do the same thing all over again. See, I'm going to put more of the salt, more of the lemon with the vegetables mixed in. See, so, And then once I add that, there's going to be a little bit of this Cajun seasoning that's on here throughout the whole thing. So it adds a little, it really makes it, the whole thing good. It pops it, you know, makes it pop. So just a little bit more of the salt. And I think we're good until we add our vegetables. And then they're going to suck a lot of the salt out of the meat anyway, the vegetables, once I put them in here. So we don't want it to be, bland, you know. We don't want to, there's probably nothing worse than bland fajitas, you know. But anyway, I didn't give a shout out to Gerald from Houston. Now, he originally taught me to make these without, he didn't marinate the vegetables and some of the stuff I do now with the Cajun shrimp. He didn't do that either. But I've been doing these for, that was probably 1986, so I've been doing these for a long time since then, and playing around, experimenting, and I pretty much have it down now to a science. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start adding the green pepper and onion in. Now another thing is sometimes I'll use not only green pepper and onion, but I'll use red, yellow, or orange bell peppers as well. It just depends. You know, you don't have to use them. If you don't like green peppers, you can switch and only use red, yellow, and orange. But it's all up to you what you use in there. I mean, you know, some people don't like onions. So I don't know if that's really classified as a fajita once you remove the onion out of there. I'm sure you could do it, you know, just peppers and whatever. But I think you're closing in on pepper steak with a Mexican twist there. Spanish cooking, whatever you want to call it. And trying to be hurting anybody's feelings. That's not what these videos are about. Anyway, I would take that. I'll take that leftover vinegar and oil. I've used it for Italian dressing. You know, that really those bell peppers and onions make a really interesting Italian dressing from that, because it has no seasoning other than vinegar and oil, and just the peppers and onions have been in it. So I'll save that and use it for some dressing. Anyway, give me a few minutes. I'll be back. Mix it up a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and salt it again, because that, again, those vegetables are going to drain a lot of the salt out of the meat, and we don't want bland meat now, do we? So a little bit of the other stuff. Make sure we give it a little coating, and we'll come back and taste it. I mean, we're not going to keep salting it until we taste it, because again, we don't want things to get too salty, because salt is the thing that you can add too little of and you can recover, but if you add too much, it's hard to come back from that. You can't take salt out once you add too much. So, but this is probably nowhere near enough yet. So we're going to check it in a few minutes. I'm going to stir it around here. Sorry, I've got my camera back down again. Problem with not setting up your tripod. Let's see here. I'm going to let this sit a few more minutes. You can even put a lid on it. I never really do, because I don't want there to be pools of liquid in the bottom of my fajita pan when I'm done. Let's see. Let's set this somewhere out of the way. You know what? I'm just going to leave it here for now. There is one thing else I wanted to show you, and I sort of cheat on this too. I get a can of the traditional refried beans, because I'm not going to do just fajitas and that's it. I've got to have something on the side, so I'll take a can of these refried beans and I'll kind of chop them down, and what I'll do is I'll add some, sure, you can spice them up. You can do whatever you want to them, really. My trick is I take taco sauce, taco sauce, and add taco sauce to it and cheese. And hold on, I'll be right back. I gotta go get it. One of the things I used to do is take that certain restaurant, the fast food one, Taco Bell. Did I think Taco Bell? Any that I had left over from, like, I would put up and keep them from whenever I went there and eat. And or anybody I knew, I'd say give me those, and I'd put them up, and I'd use a little bit of those in here. And I don't add a whole lot, you know, you don't want to make your beans runny. But one thing that will thicken them up a little bit is I put that taco sauce, and then I put some cheese. So hold on a second again, let me hold my phone, doing everything with one hand. Probably about half to three quarters of a cup, believe it or not. And then I'll break that in. Here, let me set this down, and I'll just go ahead and mix it, because I can't hold the phone and stir the bowl and hold it. And see, I stirred them in, kind of flattened them out a little bit. I put a tiny bit more cheese on the top, and a little bit more taco sauce on the top of it too. So let's do that. And then I'm going to stick them in the microwave, because this is the way I cheat when I don't want to get out of the pan and dirty up another pan. I already got the fajitas going, so get my microwave going. I'll stick them in for about 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And then I'll stir in the sauce and everything. And then what you may do is you can go back one more time and put one more round of sauce and cheese on top of them, and then heat them up again for maybe a minute or a minute and a half to melt that cheese and get that sauce warmed up. But you want to make sure that the beans are good and hot before you do that anyway. And these are actually getting, and you see there's no really juice in the bottom of the pan. And now I'm going to do what I said I was going to do. Taste it again. Actually really good. So what we're going to do, a little bit more salt, not much. I'm done with the salt after that. Seasoned salt, not regular salt. A little bit more dab of the adobo. I'll come back with some more lemon. Again, because I don't want them to be dried out. Now the first lemon I cut up, I think had a few seeds in it, so I have to be careful. I'm almost down to them now. I don't want seeds in it. I have a little squeezer thing I could actually use. It has a strainer on one side and keep the seeds out of it. That seeds, we're going to pop those out with my finger. Yeah. One lemon didn't have any seeds at all, and the other one was loaded. Go figure. Alright, this one's got a few in the end here. Okay, I think that's it. And unfortunately, I had a major oversight here today. I thought I had sour cream and forgot I had bought a big tub of yogurt. So I have to actually, once I get this done, I'm going to put it somewhere to keep it warm and run to the store, believe it or not. Fortunately, I'm not real far away, but I want to do it before it closes. So I got to get these done and get up there, and my final snapshot of me taking a bite, I'll have to wait till I get back to film that, because I don't do my fajitas without something else on them. I use a little bit of sometimes a little salsa, a little bit of lettuce, some cheese on top, and I wrap it all. And I use these great big giant tortilla shells. Now some places sell them, some places don't. These are the great big ones. So finding these is fun sometimes. And I'll take them and I'll put them on my little flat skillet, which I have right here. I'll warm them up on that flat skillet. And then, wow, that bowl is hot. Yeah, I think my beans are hot. Hold on a minute, I'll be right back. Okay, and I stirred them up now, and you can see they're pretty thick. They're about to the point I want them to be, so I'm not gonna mix any more sauce into them. They were a little, I didn't buy low sodium, so I don't understand, but they're not salty at all. There's almost no salt in them, and I tasted them, so I added a little bit of salt and a tiny little bit of adobo. But what I am gonna do is, again, I'm gonna put cheese right on top, about a quarter of a cup. And they're going to go back in the microwave. And again, I'm not going to do that until I get back from the store. So, and I'm going to here switch off for a minute, and I'll fix this. And then when I get back from the store, I'm going to microwave those and probably give them maybe 2 minutes, since I'm going to be gone a while and they're going to get cold by the time I get back. Can't believe I didn't have sour cream. You know, I used some for something a while back, and I still thought I had other sour cream in there. Sucks, but hey, you know, that's the way life is sometimes. Little surprises, you know, make life interesting. All right. Now, I'm going to do one little more tiny piece here. Oh my gosh. Okay, they're done enough. Shrimp's going in. And I'll just mix it all together. There you go. Steak and shrimp fajitas. I'm going to put them in the oven or something to keep them, at least they won't get real cold real fast. It's snowing outside, or it was earlier. Fortunately, we didn't get a lot more. We were hammered the last couple months, really, or at least about 2 or 3 weeks ago. We got like 16 inches here, so we were buried. Anyway, okay. There's that. And I'm going to be warming this up in just a minute. Let it sit for a minute. Maybe give it one more pop of lemon juice. And fresh lemons. I mean, if you're you can't get any fresh lemons, I'm sure you can cheat. You can use a real lemon if you want. I mean, but fresh is still better, regardless. Drop it. Fresh is better. Alright. These things are phenomenal. Again, I'm going to thank Gerald in Houston. He's the one who originally showed me how to make them the way he made them, but the way they make them is what he said, that's how they made them. But I've basically been working on that recipe for a long time, trying to do my own version. So I changed a few things, but you know, when he made them, I think he made steak and chicken, so he didn't do shrimp at all. And so the shrimp thing with the Cajun is totally my process. And alrighty, I think I'm going to cut these off, pop a lid on them, and I'm going to have to run to the store. And now I got me some sour cream, and I decided when I looked over in the produce department, there's something else I wanted to get. I wanted some guacamole. So what I did was I went over and I checked all the avocados, and they were hard as rocks, and they were all green, and they weren't any worthy. So I look over by the salads, and here's these little tubs of guacamole mix, or already mixed guacamole, their version. So I said, I looked a little harder. There was some straight 100% Hass avocado mashed. So what I did was I put a little bit of this garlic, granulated garlic, a little bit of granulated onion, probably more than this is that, but you got to be careful because this is only a couple avocados worth. And then a little bit of this famous Creole seasoning, which I happened to buy another of while I was out. a little bit of that, but you gotta be careful of that because it's salty. So then I'll mix that up. It's perfect. Now you can do one more little thing, and some people use a little bit of lime juice in their guac. You know, I can add a little bit of lemon juice in there. This not only makes it taste better, but it also keeps it from browning so fast. It won't brown as fast as, you know, I'm sure if you've made guacamole, you've seen it turn brown on you. And I'm stuck here with my phone again because it was dying all the way to the store because I never charged it up today. And then I was in the store and realized I had gone to the store last night and didn't get sour cream because, of course, I thought I had some. So, nonetheless, I ended up having to log into my bank, transfer some money over, and I was like sitting there and my phone's trying to die. I'm like, what a grand adventure tonight. So I finally got money transferred over, and what I did when I was at the store, I happened to look over and see some corned beef. So I picked up a couple of pieces of corned beef as well. So I can do corned beef in a few days on, I don't know what day St. Patty's is, but I think it's in March. It's coming up not real soon, but I like corned beef, so I just got done. I put a little bit more sauce and the cheese on top of those beans, and I just got done microwaving those again. And I covered up the fajitas while I was gone, so they're still warm, which is a good thing already. And I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna go ahead and make a fajita burrito. I'm gonna warm up my shells on this. Would you behave, you two? I'm gonna warm this pan up, and I'm gonna take those big giant shells and just warm them for a second on each side. And one thing I do is that once I get my flat skillet hot, I'll kick the heat down so it's not real hot. But I'll just take them and I'll flip them a couple times. I don't let them get, I don't crisp them. You don't want to crisp them. You just want to feel when they get to the point where they're soft, and they might start to release a little steam to that point, and that they're flexible. You know, see, like you can actually roll this up now. So actually, it is done. I do about 2 or 3 of them, depending on how many people I have for myself. And then what I do is I put them in aluminum, and I'll seal the edges of the aluminum, whichever one so I'm just going to start off with one myself, and I'll get back to you in a few minutes. I'm going to try to show you all this trick. Okay, first I put a layer of beans down, some pita stuff is under the cheese, and I put lettuce, and then normally I would pick pico de gallo, but it was just another thing I would have had to make tonight. So I used some chunky salsa, some sour cream, and I made, you know, that guacamole from the Haas avocados. But what I want to show you is this trick about rolling burritos. Okay, first off, you want to take your edges and fold them, like almost crease the edges here. See, crease the edges, and then this might be tricky because I didn't put a lot of fillings. This is going to be a huge burrito. I hope I didn't overfill it. You're going to want to roll it until you get to this lip here matched up, you see, and then you pull it back under, you see. You pull it back under, and you want to kind of tuck the crease from the top into the crease at the bottom, see? So then you can kind of pull it back and then roll it, and then you got your burrito. You can see that. And then usually I kind of overfilled this one a little bit, but I'll start back up here in a second. I forgot I had used that pan to grill some toast the other day, so I got some flex garlic toast is what it was. So all right, I'll be right back. Okay, as you can see, I got me a little bit of refried beans, decked them out with a little bit of sour cream, a little bit of cheese and lettuce. Got the fajita, and I like to do these enchilada style sometimes, which if you have some enchilada sauce, which I really didn't. And I also normally would make some Cajun dirty rice or Cajun rice, or some Spanish rice, and I'll have that on the side. But I'm gonna cut this open and let you see inside, and you can see there's shrimp and all that goodness. So let me so you can see the inside of it there. I'm gonna take a piece and move it because I'm right at the edge of this plate. And I'm gonna come over here, cut it all over my hands here. I'm gonna take a piece with some lettuce, some cheese, everything as much as I can get on here. And I'm gonna taste it. I missed that. I really haven't made these a lot since my wife passed away. I used to make them occasionally, but there you go. Steak and shrimp fajitas, refried beans, guacamole inside. Also, you can have the guacamole with some chips too on the side if you want, and or you can even have some of the chunky salsa I have with some chips, so you're not just eating fajitas and beans. So have a good evening.